Hi, everybody. It's great to see you all via this ZUG Meet. And I hope that I am visible and that I am audible to all of you. So I will start sharing my screen now. So give me a moment to get that started. So yes, I hope that you can all see the screen. I've started sharing. So in case you can see the screen and see my video and hear me clearly, please give me a thumbs up. So you'll see a reaction bar, a reaction button on the toolbar below. So you can just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, so I'll just wait for a second. Yes, so I guess that all of it is fine. So thank you, Loshini, first of all, for that detailed presentation about Zoho Work Drive and telling us about how you can share, collaborate, and store documents on Zoho Work Drive. So in this half of the session, we'll be looking at how you can use e-signatures to optimize your education world business. I am Nanditha M, a product marketer at Zoho Sign, and I'm joined today by Rajkiran, our customer support lead, and Sayanand, our senior product marketer. So they will be helping with the questions and answers today. So let me quickly get started. So this is the agenda we'll be covering today. We have the scope of e-signatures in the education sector being talked about first, followed by an overview about Zoho Sign. And then we will look at a couple of use cases where you can use Zoho Sign's features and functionalities to solve problems in your business world, in the education sector especially. So it is not a new news to most of you that the education world runs on paperwork, right? Because with a lot of stakeholders involved, be it parents, students, staff members, vendors, and so on, paperwork is bound to be voluminous. So starting from student application forms to loan documents to teacher reports and progress reports, there is a lot of paperwork that goes on in the education world. A very crucial element to all of this paperwork happen to be signatures. Signatures are important because they both confirm the validity of the document's contents and also
Okay.
help establish. Sorry, I heard somebody. So feel free to ask anything in case you have anything. No? All right. So I'll just continue then. So, as I was saying, signatures play a crucial role, right? Because they both validate the contents of the document, and at the same time, you will be able to establish a few key elements such as the signer's identity, the time of signing, and so on. So, all this can be established only through signatures. But if you are going to continue to do manual paperwork in a highly digital world, so currently the digital transformation is happening at such a huge pace. So, if you continue to do manual paperwork, this will pose a lot of challenges. This happens primarily because the educational transactions nowadays, especially after the pandemic, happen remotely and classrooms are increasingly hybrid. Experiences are also digital first and collaborations within stakeholders happen across time zones and borders. This leads to documentation and signatures becoming scattered all over the place and untraceable when done physically. The process is also repetitive, cumbersome, and quite time consuming. And of course, with signatures, there are concerns of trust and security that come up. So, if your business does not do all of this in a seamless manner and convert to digital signing, then you present low confidence. Which is why we will give you this one single stop solution with which you can solve all of your digital signature needs, which is Zoho Sign, a comprehensive cloud based digital signature platform, which is supplemented by compliance with data privacy and security regulations such as GDPR, CCPA, HIPAA, to name a few. And we even have controls for life sciences industries, which help you to comply with 21 CFR Part 11 and EU GMP Annex 11. Moreover, we provide an array of features such as multi factor app authentication, role based access and permissions, and you can also access reports, establish tamper proof audit trails, and download free completion certificates. Moreover, you can authenticate signers via email and SMS OTPs, dynamic knowledge based authentication, government IDs, and signer attachments. We also provide blockchain based timestamping and trusted document timestamping. And you can also print and sign for regional conventions, sign using USB tokens or with third party digital signatures certificates, and also adopt advanced or qualified electronic signatures based on your regional and national IDs. And we use all of these trust service providers that are mentioned here to provide these features for you at an affordable price. Zoho Sign is the trusted choice of 40,000 plus businesses currently because we provide standard electronic signatures, advanced electronic signatures, and qualified electronic signatures that are compliant with the legal laws across the globe, such as PIPEDA in Canada, the eSign Act in the US, eIDAS in the European Union, ACTA across African nations, ITA 2000 in India, ETA in Australia, New Zealand, and other parts of Southeast Asia. Zoho Sign is also available across all popular platforms. So it's not just with web browsers that we are compatible. You can use it across Android OS, iOS, iPad OS, Mac OS, and Windows OS. Zoho Sign also tightly integrates with the Zoho suite of apps and also with third-party apps such as uh, the Microsoft apps. Then you have Google apps, you have CRM platforms, integration platforms, and cloud storage platforms with which you can integrate. And of course, there are other platforms such as FormStack and OpenAI that you can use too. Moreover, if you have existing apps, you can use our APIs, webhooks, and SDKs to integrate the existing apps with Zoho Sign. So now it's time to hear from a customer who's from the education world, in fact. So Heshan J. Paris owns an e-reader and audiobook company called K Reader in Sri Lanka. So at K Reader, he was practicing physical signatures and he was following physical paperwork for a long time. And he faced a lot of difficulties in signing agreements with different parties, such as authors, cover designers, editors, voice artists, and so on. So when he had this issue, he thought that it's important that he quickly finds a digital alternative to the physical signature process, and he chose Zoho Sign's API integration. And with that, he was able to easily solve all of his problems. And here is Heshan speaking. So he has mentioned us on his LinkedIn page and in detail mentioned how Zoho Sign helped solve his problems. So you can, of course, read further customer stories by going to zoho.com/sign/customers. And in fact, after using Zoho Sign, I'm sure many of you already do, but if you also continue to use Zoho Sign and find it to be as useful as Heshan did, you can also probably tell us your stories and you will find yourself to be mentioned in the customers page, just like Heshan. So yes, let's quickly look at a couple of industry use cases. So I will be just scratching the surface here. I will be just telling you a few of the possible use cases that you would have probably encountered where Zoho Sign can save the day. But this is just the surface. You can probably tell us how much you use Zoho Sign too. So we would love for this to be interactive. So I would like to start with templates, which is a large and widely used feature that Zoho Sign has. So templates are nothing but used when you have reusable documents, right? So they are, in fact, they're just a template that is used when you have reusable documents. You have a document proper, and then you might be placing fields in them, and only the field values or the recipients might change, but the document as such or the fields don't change. So say, for instance, HR documents or student forms, especially things like permission or consent forms, where you're going to be sending it out for different occasions to different people, such as maybe parents of a particular class once and then a particular class the next time, but then the details of it might not exactly change. You can definitely use this. So let's see how to use templates. So let me just show you that. So on the Zoho Sign dashboard, on the left-hand pane, click Templates. And on the top right corner, you'll have a plus Create Template button, which you can click. And here you can add a document from your desktop or your cloud storage devices. So I am adding a permission slip here. So once the permission slip downloads, you can, so once it gets uploaded onto the dashboard, you can choose to edit the name if you wish to. And then here you can choose to send an order. So if you send something in order, it will start a sequential signing procedure. Otherwise, it will go into a parallel signing procedure. But here we're just going to make a template, right? So let's just uncheck that. And here you can fill in a role. So this role is not going to change, but the recipients who are going to fall under this role might change. So I filled in parent, and here I'm going to fill in a couple of fields. Here we have two options. So we have the pre-fill by you pre-fill by you option, which is going to be us filling in the details, and then you have the parent recipient option as well. So these are differentiated by colors. So I'm just going to pre-fill a few fields. So I'm going to just add a text field here, and I'm going to edit the label of that. So I'll just choose that, delete the existing label, and rename it to trip name. So once that's done, I'm going to switch to the parent, and then I'm going to add a text field for them and edit the data label once again, and I'm going to add student's name here. So once that happens, when I use the template, right, you will see this. It will be quite easy for me to identify which label is what and fill in only those details that are required for me to fill. That is the pre-fill by you option. So since we are going to probably, assume I am the organizer of this trip from the institution, we are the ones who are going to be sending this document out, right? So we will be filling in the trip name and the trip date, whereas the parent fills in the student's name and say they can fill in any other comments or notes that they want us to know, such as the medical history of the student or so on. You can add a signature field and a sign date field for them. The sign date field will auto-populate based on the date of signing, so that cannot be edited by the signer. So this is another interesting feature we have. So I clicked on save on the top right, and then I'm redirected to the templates tab. Here you'll see that the template we created, permission slip, is listed first. Once I click on top of that, I should be able to use the template. Here I can just fill in the fields that I mentioned as pre-fill by you. So let's say in this case, we're taking them to a planetarium on April 17th. So we'll just fill in planetarium and add 17th of April. Fill in the details of the recipient. You can also choose to add bulk recipients if you want, or quick send, which will immediately send from this stage, or click on continue. So if you click on continue, what happens is it takes you back to the workflow in case you want to edit anything. So you can add a recipient, or you can edit more settings such as the agreement validity date, or in case you want to give them a particular number of a particular duration to complete, you can do so. You can set reminders and so on. Just works the same way as you would do when you're sending out signatures in Zoho Sign. So here you will see that the fields that were pre-filled by you are mentioned here, and the other fields are visible. You can now check it and click send. So you should be able to confirm the details of the recipient and click send. So now it has been sent out for signatures. That's the first one. But in case you want to send it right from the send for signature stage, that is also possible. So go back to the main home page, and then you should be able to send for signatures. And when you're adding a document, you will have an option called templates. Click on that and choose the template of your choice. Click on use templates, and you should be able to use the template right here. So since we had not filled in the name of a recipient, we only gave the role parent, right? So we can edit that here. So let's just quickly fill in the name of the recipient we want. So that will get auto-populated. You can add further details as well. If you want to add more recipients, you can do so, and then click on continue. So at this stage, you can choose to fill in the pre-fill values here itself. So I will click there and fill in planetarium. So this is like another route to arrive at the same end. So we will choose a date as well, and then click send. You can confirm the details of the recipients and click send. So now you can see that the document is in progress. So this is how you can easily send out templates. So once a template is set in place, all you need to do is just change the field values and change the recipient names if you wish to, and you can keep sending them again and again, mitigating the time and cost that you will lose if you were to do repetitive work. So another interesting feature that we have is to collect signatures via public forms known as sign forms. So imagine a situation where you would like to collect a lot of signatures, a bulk amount of signatures, in fact, but you do not have all the recipient details with you. Otherwise, there's a situation where you just want to embed this public form or circulate it anywhere and then collect details wherein the recipient will be filling it out all by themselves, or it's more of a self-service situation. In that case, what do? You can convert an existing template into a sign form. So let's see how to achieve that. So you can go to the templates tab, click on the ellipsis under actions that's placed on the extreme right, and you can choose create sign form. Otherwise, you can go to the left-hand pane and choose sign forms and click create sign form from the top right. Here you should be able to choose a template. So let's just say we are going to send them a notice about fee payment, and you can enter a name for the sign form. So it's going to be notice fee payment. And once that's filled, you can choose the validity date between forever or a selected date. So I want them to finish, this notice is going to be about them paying the fees. And as a proof of the fees being paid, they will attach a certain receipt and also sign it. So I want it to be done by a certain time. I do not want it to be forever. So I will choose, say, May 20th. You can enforce a one-time password. You can limit the sign form responses if you know the final amount of responses that you need. For instance, you're taking a survey where you just want 50 responses, you can just limit that. And then if you want to avoid duplicate responses within the 7 days of initial response, you can do so as well. And then the sign form would have been created successfully. To start, circulating the sign form, it's quite easy. You go to actions and then choose copy URL from the ellipsis under it. So let me just show you how that works. I'll open a new tab and I'll copy paste the URL. So this is how it will be from the signer's point of view. So they can fill in their name and the email address. So they will see the validity date at the end. You can see that it's only valid till May 20th at the bottom. There's a note mentioned there. And then once they fill in their email address, they can start signing. So once they click on start signing, it will take them to the document signing page. Here they will agree to the terms and conditions, the electronic record and signature disclosure that is on the top, and then they will click on agree and continue to start signing. They can fill in all the fields here. So here they will fill in the name of their student, fill in the receipt number, and then there's a checkbox they need to check. And automatically the details from their profile, apologies. So yeah, so automatically the details from their profile do get auto-populated when they come to this stage, that is towards the signature stage. So the name of the parent and the signature are getting auto-populated from their profile because they are a Zoho Sign member. So as you can see, the date gets auto-populated to the sign date. So as you can see on the top right, it was 23rd February when they signed. They can choose to sign via Zoho Sign or any of the other trust service providers there, and the signing process is done. So you can choose to circulate this URL via, say, Click. So if you're a Zoho One user, it's quite easy for you to just copy paste this onto Click if you use Click already, or WhatsApp if you have existing WhatsApp groups of the target recipients, or you can even choose to embed this link onto websites. So you can create a button and embed it there, or just place the link wherever you wish. So this is another easy way through which you can collect a lot of signatures at once. Now let me give you another situation where you want to collect signatures from bulk signers. So let's take a situation just as is mentioned here. Offer letters. So you have had a couple of applicants apply for a particular role at your university or your school, and you have chosen some of them. And so the offer letter that they receive will be the same, but then the people who are supposed to sign are going to be different. So multiple copies of the same document need to be sent out, but then you need to receive individual signers' copies back. So what do? You can employ the bulk recipients option on Zoho Sign. To start using this, click on Send for Signatures on the home page. Choose any of the documents that you wish to. So I'm going to choose Job of Offer Letter for Teacher and then click on Open. So once that is done, I will scroll down and I can add bulk recipients. So there's a button there. So you need to have the bulk recipients details, that is their email address, their name, and if you wish to add a private note, that also in a comma separated values file format. So once you have that, so you can easily convert a Zoho sheet or an Excel sheet into a CSV file. That's quite simple. So once you have that database, just convert it. So I have a staff candidates.csv file here. Let me just upload that. And you should be able to see that the recipient email and the recipient names, so Maria and Sean are the people who have applied, their names are populated here. So let me just import that and you can click on continue. So you will still be able to pre-fill a few fields and also add fields for these bulk recipients. So let me scroll down quick. And here we have a signature field available. So I will place a signature field there. And we have a date space available where I'll fill the sign date. At the same time, assume that I am the director of this institute. Let me fill in the signature field there and also a sign date field so that the receivers can be sure that this has been sent by a legitimate source. So let me just click send and you can confirm the number of bulk recipients and send. So at this point, you should be able to see here that the message got sent out to Maria and Sean at the same time, but it just takes a couple of seconds to get sent to Sean. So both of them receive the same document. However, they will sign individually on two different copies of the document and send it back. So this is very useful if you have application forms or offer letters or circulars and notices to get a lot of signatures from. Another interesting fact about Zoho Sign is that it is quite compatible with most operating systems, as we already saw, and we have native mobile apps that are compatible with Android OS, iOS, iPad OS, and Windows OS as well. So students, teachers, parents, vendors, suppliers, and all of them can easily sign anywhere and anytime. So you can also use the sign form links as we showed, or email signing requests. So requests that are sent to your emails, you can easily access them through the apps or just through your web browsers and sign immediately. So here you can see that a person scanning a particular document and they have the app, So they're just placing a couple of fields there to get things signed. So they're placing a date field and a signature field. And in the time that I took to even convey this, the documents have been signed nearly 4 or 5 times. So that's how quick it is and how reliable it is as well. We will look at one more interesting use case. So we do have scenarios in the education world where, say, for instance, when you're dealing with hostel residency or with scholarship acceptances or sponsorship forms, you might have the candidate that you wish to get a signature from right in front of you, but then you might just be a representative of the organization or the sponsor who's getting this process done. So you might want to be a host for the signing process and get the sign done in person in front of you itself. So under your supervision. In those cases, you can use in-person signing. So let's see how to achieve that. So you can click on send for signatures on the home page and upload a document of your choice. So let's upload a scholarship affidavit here. So once the scholarship affidavit gets uploaded, you can scroll down and then add the recipient details of the signer. So say it is a scholarship receiver, you will have to type in their details. You can change their name if you wish to. And here on the roles option or the signer actions option, you can choose in-person signer. Then a new row pops up which asks you to add the host details. So in this case, say John Martin is the host and you are asking John Martin to conduct the signing process in person, you can do so. So this is another interesting feature that we have, which is form fields. So if you have fillable PDFs that you upload, you can automatically detect those spaces. So those fillable spaces will get automatically detected and you will be asked if you want to insert fields there or you do not want to do so. So here I'm going to ignore the form fields. So yes, let me just click on proceed. And then I can add the fields that need to be filled by Dave Smith, right? So let me just add a full name field, and I shall also add a signature field for him. So once the signature field is placed and the sign date field is placed, you can click send. So I'm going to uncheck the sign the document right after sending because in this case, I'm using the John Martin account, right? So I am the host in this case. So I'm just going to uncheck that and click confirm. So let me show you how John Martin, the host, will receive this. So let's open John Martin's email to see this. He has received a request from this organization called Secure Sign to initiate the signing process. So he clicks on host session, and then he will have to log in. And once he logs in, he can host the session. He gets a couple of instructions. So these are just instructions that he receives to be able to facilitate the process. He can pass control of the particular device onto the signer, which is Dave Smith. So Dave Smith now has possession of the device and he sees the document signer page. So he can confirm the electronic record and signature disclosure, agree and continue, fill in the fields that pop up, and then he can quickly finish signing the document. All right. So once he finishes signing the document, he will have an option to send an email copy of the signed document to himself. He can fill in his email ID, click pass control, and click finish. And now it comes back to John Martin, who can either download or print the document or go back to the Zoho Sign homepage. So this is very useful when you have the signer right in front of you, but maybe they do not have a device or you want to facilitate the entire signing process under your supervision. You can get this done quite easily. So yes, these are just a few use cases that I discussed. So I'm pretty sure that all of you might be users of Zoho Sign or you might be interested in using Zoho Sign. So these are just a few features that you can give a try, or you can even tell us how you have better used Zoho Sign's features to facilitate your own educational business needs. These are a few resources I would like to share before I take on any questions. You can scan to visit Zoho Sign using the QR code here and try out all the features that I mentioned here. Or you can write to us in case of feedback or queries even after the session elapses. So you can write to support@zohosign.com or support@eu.zohosign.com if you're a EU user. Further, we have online training provided. So you can go to the link provided if you want custom trainings. And most importantly, all our updates about any new features or any webinars that we take, or even user guide videos are available on X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So you can follow us on these links mentioned. So in case there are any more questions, I will take them now. So please feel free to unmute or just put them on the chat. I will just stop screen sharing so that I can just see whatever you're sharing on the chat, as well as if you unmute, I just wanted to know. So let me just stop screen sharing. So if there are any questions, we'll take them. So I believe a lot of questions have been already answered on the chat while I was presenting.
Hi, I'm Ranjit Kumar again.
Hello, Ranjit.
Yeah, so Zoho Sign, I can see that eMudra is also one of the clients of Zoho Sign.
Yeah.
And in India, when we do digital signature or
Mm,
sign,
mm.
I'm particularly my company is using the services of eMudra as of now.
All right.
So, so I wish to understand that Zoho Sign, you mentioned that it's legal, but how is the this legal system works where they approve that this kind of signatures are valid for when we sign digitally, then how do you get that mandate that this signature is a legal signature if we do a digital
All right.
signature?
All right. So starting with your question, so we integrate with eMudra for a couple of our authentication features. So I wouldn't exactly call that they're a client, but we integrate with them rather. And you can easily find out if a document has been digitally signed using any of these trust service providers that I'd mentioned on the integration slide. So all you have to do is get a PDF viewer. So say you have the Adobe Reader or anything, so you should be able to check it under the signatures tab. So you should be able to see who has provided the digital signature certificate right there. All right. Another easy way to do so with Zoho Sign is that you can download a completion certificate absolutely for free, where you can see at the bottom left, you can see which is the digital signature provider who has provided this particular sign to be valid. But in particular, in the Indian context, you can use Aadhaar e-sign and eKYC signing quite efficiently with Zoho Sign. And at the same time, you should be able to authenticate your signatures as well using all the authentication methods I had already mentioned, right? So you have the recipient authentication methods, for instance, the email authentication, SMS authentication, or the offline codes. You can use this to make sure that only those people intended can even view your document. And the legality part of it, so each country or each region has its own laws, right? So in India, we have the ITA 2000, which specifies how uh, physical signatures are equivalent to digital signatures under certain norms, and Zoho Sign complies by that quite rigidly. So by all these ways, you can easily affirm that your digital signature is not tampered with and that it is legal as well. So I hope that clarifies your question.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ranjit.
Thank you.
Yeah, if there's anything else, I'll be glad to answer.
So if anyone had any questions about Work Drive 2, you can ask them here. Rosni is still here with us to help us with the questions.
Regarding this signature, I have another question. We use Zoho People. So these templates that you mentioned to issue the experience letter or offer letter, relieving letter, can we use these templates are also available within Zoho People if anyone of you know this, that, or the template will be available if only if we subscribe to this Zoho Sign.
So you can choose to integrate Zoho People with Zoho Sign. So you can choose to do that. So you'll just have to, integrate the option from the integrations available within Zoho People. But you'll just have to ensure that the right licenses are available both on Zoho People and on uh, Zoho Sign. So once you do that, you should be able to use the templates here, there as well. So the features basically are kind of transferable, so you can definitely use them there.
Hey, hi. This is Sai here from the Zoho Sign team. Hi, Ranjit. Glad to have your questions here. I just want to quickly respond to the question that you just raised. Now, I understand that you saw that we used a couple of examples in the demo or the slides that we just showed you, and you were wondering if these templates would be available with the Zoho People app as well, or if it is something that would require you to purchase separately as a subscription with Zoho Sign. Now, If you use Zoho People, I am sure you would notice that over there are some predefined templates that are available for you to make use of for, say, employment policies and the normal kind of documents that would be sent out for signatures over an employee's life cycle. These documents are available in People. They are not available separately in Zoho Sign. However, you can, of course, by all means, create your own templates, which can then be brought into Zoho People or Zoho Sign, depending on how you want to trigger the workflows. And what Nanditha was saying earlier was that the applications can be integrated to set off the workflows from Zoho People. So in such scenarios, if you have the templates, be it in Zoho People or Zoho Sign, as long as the templates are properly incorporated and brought into a workflow, you should be able to trigger them out and send them out to the employees or the candidates out for signatures. But the advantage of doing it through the integration in Zoho People is that if your templates are available inside Zoho People, then they're contextually mapped to the respective records, both within Zoho Sign and Zoho People as the workflow progresses. And you can have access to the document after it has been signed within Zoho People itself, than having to navigate to Zoho Sign to access them. The apps are fairly interoperable in nature, meaning what happens in Zoho Sign reflects within Zoho People, and what happens or what is set off from Zoho People is reflecting within Zoho Sign as well. The idea is that though we have two separate applications, you wouldn't necessarily have to switch between the applications to get the workflows running and have your data sort manually shifted between the applications. I hope that answers your question. But if you have a follow up, feel free to do feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And a last point, one sentence is that how legal is a printed document with the digitally signed copy of a document?
All right, great question. As Nandita had spoken to you earlier, Zoho Sign is built on top of the digital signature specifications which are laid out in the IT Act. So the IT Act clearly has a certain. So there are common digital signature standards that have been very clearly specified by the controller of certifying authorities as to who can certify and who can issue certificates for digital signatures in India. The technology is built on top of what the specifications are for digital signatures. Now, where the digital signatures are proven to be equivalent to signed documents, where that is printed documents that are signed, is when the certificates can be truly linked or traced back to the identity of the signer. So, when you digitally sign a document which has a property file or a certificate file appended to it, printing it out sort of defeats the purpose of digitally signing it in the first place, because then you lose the traceability back to the identity of the signer. So though visually it may carry the signature, and you may be able to verify at your discretion that it was indeed signed by this person, the whole point of digitally signing it is there is a clear record that it was signed by the person claiming to be the signer, right? So you can print it out, and as long as the two agreeing parties are able to agree, amongst themselves, that the printed document is indeed signed by the person that whose name is, the document, that name that it bears, is signed by them, then it should be fine. But if there is a dispute that arises out of it, then obviously the court would then be subjected to go after how the law has been set out, and they will ask for the digitally signed copy, wherein they will verify the trail in the certificate that comes with the document. I hope that answers your question. If
I can understand the practical aspect of it, because two parties, for example, someone who signed and someone who received the document, if they have no problem, the document is still valid when it is printed.
That's correct.
But if
Yes.
we
Yes.
submit it to a third party, let's say some government authority or government agency or any organization, but if they do not have that policy of accepting a digitally signed printed copy, then they might reject it, or they might say that no, we don't recognize it. Is that what you are trying to say?
Um, that is, I would say that is partially true, in the sense that somebody who does not have a policy that they've set for themselves to not accept a digitally signed copy can always choose to reject it. However, like I said, if even if they choose to reject it and this is taken to court as a dispute, the court would then follow what is set out in law. And as per law, if the digital signature process has been followed under the specifications laid out in law, then the court would then rule in favor of the person who has signed it digitally. That's what we're trying to say here. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and sorry uh, for taking this much time of the
No worries.
audience.
No worries. Yeah. They're
Thank
happy
you.
to answer your questions.
Yeah, if we are out of questions, we can now end the session. So thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you found a few things useful from this meetup. So we can continue this discussion in our Click channels. So we have a specific Click channel called the Education ZUG. ZUG stands for Zoho User Group. So there you can have contextual discussions around Zoho and how it can be used in the education sector. So if you're not already a part of it, so let me know if that interests you and I'll add you in. There we share all the meeting recordings. We get your inputs about future meetups, and all sorts of discussions happen there. And if you have any suggestions for us to do next meetup, this time it was work drive and sign. Let's say you want to learn CRM the next time, we can have a CRM meetup setup as well. So yes, that would be it. Yes, we'll be sending the recording to everyone. And yes, and thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the presenters. Awesome job. So yeah, have a great day. Goodbye.